Street skating, it's the heart and soul of skateboarding. And I want to use comics to show what street skating is really like. So come along in this street skating tour of Portland, Oregon. But first, let's take the bus cause I don't have a car. Okay, I'm back now. Every great story has to start with an establishing shot. So my story is going to start at the bus stop because I'm writing about teens and they can't drive. So the goal for today is to draw this image as closely as I can. And I'm just going to eyeball the guidelines. I think this is 1 point perspective. So yeah, no rulers. Today I wanted to talk about the tragedy of wanting to become a manga artist. Everyone that enjoys drawing art inspired by Japan has this dream of wanting to become a manga artist. We draw these cool characters and they have cool powers, but the only thing we're lacking is we can't draw backgrounds for shit. That was like one of the things that prevented me from making a manga sooner, is that I couldn't draw backgrounds. But guys, it's okay to suck ass at drawing. So try not to use mock-ups or take a picture and make it black and white and insert your characters into the picture. And I know that's actually a standard for a lot of mangaka, but listen, you don't have shit. You don't have to write on a weekly basis. You can write whenever you can. So use this time that you're a nobody to just fuck up, make crappy backgrounds, and just keep building up your background skills. So when the time comes to create your comic book, you already have the skills needed. Alright, the reason I didn't draw guidelines and I just decided to eyeball it is because there's a lot of stuff on the foreground. I'm gonna draw a big ass tree now, and that was probably gonna smudge my guidelines and make my eyes hurt because I can't tell what line is what. Also guys, is my sketchbook just tilted or is everything lopsided? I hope not, because I'm not gonna erase it. I don't care if it's lopsided. Alright, I got all the details on the left side. Hopefully I'm gonna not half-ass it on the right side. Okay, this is the part where not using a ruler kind of bites me in the ass. Just with one stroke of the pen or pencil, you've drawn a whole row of windows with the ruler. But since I didn't use a ruler, I'm gonna have to draw every window individually. But since I don't care, I'm just gonna leave it blank. Okay, we finished our establishing shot. Now we're gonna establish the bus. Okay, now that we have our bus drawn, it's time to draw the characters which ride the bus. So I quickly set down my tripod to get on the bus and get off of it because I wanted to get a reference of someone getting off a bus. Even though I was only away from my tripod for 20 seconds, this was the most sketchiest thing I've done that day. If you've seen the memes about Portland, Oregon, they're a little true, and people here are just built different. It's like people here, if they see something that's like by itself for 5 seconds, they're like, it doesn't belong to me! But yeah, that's my hot take. If it doesn't belong to you, just don't touch it. But I guess that wasn't very wholesome of me. Maybe I should just let people enjoy things. So I finished a world our characters will live in, but if we look at it with a critical eye, there's a lot of problems. The lines are crooked, the shapes merge together, and there's very little detail. But that doesn't matter because I had fun drawing it, and that's what's most important. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't improve, because this time we're gonna draw characters and backgrounds together in a fusion of art and misogyny. I don't know what misogyny means, but it sounds funny. So this is going to be our panoramic reference. I wanted it to be more panoramic, but I had to cut it short because there was a guy that was scaring me. But there's no awesome skate characters in this picture. Well, I have the perfect solution. I'm just going to draw the characters first and then the background. So your number one job as a comic book artist is to convey how awesome the characters are. So I'm gonna draw my character picking up a skateboard like a boss. Now with the character drawn, it's time to draw the background. And since the characters take up most of the background, we won't have to draw much of it. But first we must figure out what perspective this is. 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point? I guess this is like 1 point because everything leads to this center right here. Now it's time for the inking process, and we're gonna use a ruler and a G pen. So I got this ruler, and you know it's legit because it got Japanese on the packaging. But this ruler is actually really special because it has a beveled edge. So you're gonna want the flat part facing up so you don't get any ink on your ruler or whatever the fuck, because ink gets everywhere anyway, so I don't fucking know. Okay, now it's time to switch gears to a more technical pen. The mapping pen. The mapping pen. Drawing with this pen, I kinda hate it. I don't know, maybe I suck. When I first started using it, I thought it made the line art look really nice. Pretty much the thick lines can look really thick and the thin lines can get really thin. But now since I've been drawing for a few hours, the line art doesn't look that different from like a G pen. So yeah, maybe it's because I bought the cheap ones from like Amazon. Dang, this background is looking pretty freaking plain. Luckily, I'm gonna draw fucking trees and shit, cause that would fill up all the space. Okay, we have stopped and reached our destination. Now let's turn around and look at the spot. This is Pioneer Square, the most famous skate spot in the universe. Not really. Burnside's the famous spot. Anyways, my job as an artist is to make this spot look as intense and crazy as I possibly can. Okay, this is the spot now. Does it look more intimidating than the real photo? Now that we have our big fat stair set, we gotta throw some tricks down it. If you guys are familiar with skating at all, you guys know that us skaters, we don't take just one try to do something, we take like 10 or 20. But maybe with each try, we could try a new way to present skateboarding in a comic format. So I brought out the fisheye and my friends were immediately intrigued. I'm not really sure what to call low angles or high angles or any of those technical terms, so I'm just gonna say this is the first angle, second angle, and angle number 3. Wait, I'm actually supposed to fall on that try. Hey, maybe since I'm in the city and I'm mic'd up, maybe I should try some street interviews. Are you okay with asking any geopolitical questions? Do you like Sonic?
The game?
Yeah, the Hedgehog.
I guess so.
Is Mario better?
I guess.
Okay, we have our open canvas, and I'm not sure how I'm going to explain this, but I'm just going to show you visually how I want the panels to go. Okay, a 101 copy, that's gonna be kinda boring, so let's make it hard for me. So let's change it to a nollie frontside flip. The thing about references is that it's hard to find the exact pose you want. I mean, even if you look up exactly what you want, it's still going to be impossible to find. I mean, it's not an exact replica at all, but this was the closest angle I could find to what I was envisioning. Yeah, so I try to use that reference as close as possible, even though it wasn't the correct angle. I mostly try to ad-lib the details, you know. Okay, now that I'm cozy and I'm pretty far into the drawing, I think I drew the wrong trick. So he's kicking away from the wall instead of towards the wall, which is what I wanted. But in the reference I took, the wall is in the right or left, or I don't even know. But I'm already way too deep into this drawing to even give a shit. Here you can see me using the tree method. What's the tree method? It's a method I use when I don't want to draw certain things. Okay, so we fell. Whatever. We all fall. But what matters is that we get back up and keep trying. The main theme of skateboarding is perseverance. No matter how many times you fall, you keep getting up and trying to trick over and over until you land it. And the theme of perseverance is present in a lot of anime too. So today, I will persevere against my shyness for the sake of art. Okay, so the idea is I'm supposed to tumble. Fuck. Alright, so I'm supposed to be acting out a scene in which a character falls, but he just gets back up despite his bad tumble. Now, to really sell that this isn't just an ordinary fall, get back up, and it's actually super fierce and serious, I'm gonna be really up and close in the camera, and I don't know. Okay, it's kind of hard to do this because I think everyone's looking at me, but isn't that the point? Okay, the first thing I'm going to draw is the close-up camera shot, and from then on, I'm just going to draw the other poses. Okay, our first pose is finished. Now it's time to draw the running pose. So, I'm trying to draw something even more intense and dramatic than the original reference. I mean, look at this run. I got places to be, man. And I think I'm drawing everything fine. It's just the legs. I don't understand anatomy. So, combined with my try-hardness and my inability to draw anatomy, I'm just like not getting this drawing at all, which is okay because I think that means I'm about to level up. So I'm just gonna keep erasing until I get the right pose. Okay, this time we're really fired up. When you feel like your frustration has gotten to a boiling point, it's time that you need to let everything go. Even though you're beyond frustrated, there's no way you could turn your back and quit now. So basically the idea about this drawing is that cliche in anime where the characters, they are pushed to their limit and they rip out their chains or whatever inhibits them and they release their full potential. So here's me trying to rip out my imaginary bandages. But you know what isn't imaginary? Generational trauma, which is what I'm trying to rip apart. So, I'm gonna have to address the allegations. This is literally just a Sora. At least give credit, twin. This reminds me of a Sora from Soul Eater. Listen, this is a completely original character that I created, and I don't appreciate the comparison. Anyways, now that I disavowed, the two people that commented, it's time to move on. The scabs that have been hidden from the bandages have finally been unveiled. It's do or die time, his last chance to make his mark. But before we do all that, I think I need to go take public transportation. You're probably curious on what exactly I'm doing. Well, I'm trying to take a panoramic photo of the Portland train. I don't know why, but I really thought this was going to be an easy thing to do. I mean, this is just, this is a malfunction. But yeah, the bus was going pretty far from where I parked and I decided to get off. But I have developed a new contraption that will help me in this journey. But for some reason, this bus got super busy and I got way too embarrassed to even try my stunt. Okay, that was honestly a big fat fail, but I don't think anyone's gonna be going on this bus. It seems pretty chill right now. Okay, thank God no one got on this bus, but I didn't do the panorama this time. I just went for the good old fisheye. I honestly really wanted to have a speech on why taking real life photos is better than using 3D models, but going up back and forth on the bus really fucking sucked, and I kind of felt embarrassed, but you know what, it's whatever. So as you can see, I'm drawing in a fisheye perspective, sorta. I'm not sure the technicality of what perspective this is, but I'm just gonna imagine it as a 1-point perspective. So yeah, no crazy warped perspective, just drawing a simple horizon line and a vanishing point. And all the objects that are occurred by the fisheye, I just reference it. But enough of this talk about art improvement, it's time to contemplate our doomer lives. Okay, I've drawn the inside of the train, but there's a whole world just outside that window. When I took the train, I was really stressing over finding a scenic background that just identifies Portland. A photo of the Burnside Bridge, or maybe a photo of Mount St. Helens. But this story isn't about Portland, it's a story about a boy on his journey. So I'm just gonna take a more casual approach to this and go wherever the train takes me.
Now I know it all. It's so
Okay, I'm doing fisheye again, but that's not really a perspective that's warped or fisheye. But the goal was to copy pretty much the inside of the bus by hand, and by doing that and making it look fisheye, I was hoping that everything outside of the bus would be warped and fisheye looking, even though I'm just using 1 point perspective to draw the buildings. Alright, I'm finished with penciling, but the true nightmare has yet to come, inking. Fuck! Oh my god. Alright, so I worked super hard to draw this background, and I'm already messing it up. And it's all because I don't have much practice inking with rulers. One of the tutorials I watched, the guy was holding the ruler diagonally. So I tried that method, but my lines are coming out wobbly, and I don't know why. Maybe I got some shaky ass hands, or the pen is sort of beveled at the end. I mean, maybe if it wasn't beveled, it would lock in with the straight edge of the ruler. I mean, the guy I watched, he held it up in an angle and his lines came out good. Maybe he just had more practice than me, or his hand technique was a lot better. But that would infer that I don't know everything and that I might need more practice. So we're just gonna throw that all away and do our own thing. So I went back to laying the ruler flat on the paper, but the ink started blobbing for some reason, and I have no idea why this is happening. I mean, it was really stressing me out and driving me nuts. Like, I spent all this time drawing this, and the ink is fucking it up. The ink would constantly get on the ruler, and I just thought I could live with it, but there were so many times where the ink just bled out and got everywhere. I knew there was something missing. I had to change something, or else this drawing is just gonna be freaking destroyed and ruined. But then I started to realize when people dip their nibs into the ink, they use the edge to wipe off the excess ink. So I did that, and no ink got on my ruler ever again, which kind of disappoints me because I was being held back by one simple tip. Isn't it just nice to spend a whole day dozing off on a nice train ride? Or maybe not. Let's just get off the bus and start to draw more skating. So we're at this point where it's supposed to be the climactic finale. So how about we go back to the spot and get some climactic photos. Alright, so I'm gonna find the right angle to present this scene. Not only is the framing of the stair set important, but the character framing is important as well. The funny thing is that security came up to me and kicked me out and I wasn't even skating. What artist do you know is willing to go to jail for their art? Okay, he was honestly pretty chill and gave me 10 more minutes at the spot. He probably thought I was a crackhead. Alright, so the scene starts off with my character cruising down, ready to do the trick. And then he slams his tail down, popping his awesome trick. Then he flicks his board and his foot is all up in the camera, all perspective-like. So I've been drawing this pose for over an hour and I'm finally done with everything. Well, everything but the other two poses and the background. But at this point I was already a bit fatigued and I think I bit off a bit more than I could chew. And to top it all off, I was trying a new method. So in my previous drawing, I mixed a 1-point perspective with a fisheye lens perspective to make one drawing. So everything involving the character was freehanded, while everything that was outside the window was perspective. So here I am trying to make characters work in a perspective drawing, which I'm not really used to because I usually freehand most of everything. Cause I usually find it easier to mold the world to the characters, not mold the characters to the world. So, this background, it's pretty bare bones. That's supposed to be a tumbleweed, by the way. But I purposely left out all the details and made it look empty, so you guys can use your imagination. It usually is dead empty here, though. Well, it was dead empty besides this one lady that made me laugh because she kept looking at me. Strike! Well, I've had enough talk about the backgrounds. It's time to get back into the skating. He finally trusted himself and fully committed to the trick, but will the board commit to him? He kicked so hard that his board over-rotated. Is this the end for our hero? Is it really an excuse to give up if your body can no longer take the abuse? When the people closest to you don't want to see you push yourself over the edge, should you push them away because they're holding you back from your best self? Are you razor sharp focused on self-improvement and achieving your goals? Or do you have a self-destructive obsession with something that will never make you feel fulfilled? We're all chasing something, but it's your choice if you want to see it till the end. This is no longer about wanting to be the best. Now this has become a story about a kid that wants to see if he could hit one last final stroke of greatness. So we're gonna go full circle and go back to where it all started. Yo, what's up? We're back, and I guess there's some protests and shit. Yeah, I guess today wasn't really the best day to do whatever I'm doing because it was the No King's Day protest. I get that this protest is about immigration rights, but I didn't think they would be chanting Free Palestine and talking about Israel too. Maybe this is like a 2-for-1 deal for the protesters. Well, I can't really concern myself with these affairs anyways. I'm barely trying to free myself from the TikTok 200 view jail. So let's hurry up and get this done before this protest turns ugly and I get tear gassed. So today I'm gonna emphasize emotion. What's really cool about some skate videos is that they're able to show and capture what the skaters are feeling. So instead of accurately depicting skateboarding, I'm going to try to depict how skateboarding feels. So we're gonna start off with a top-down view so you can see how the skater feels when he's pulling up to the stair set. Okay, before I add any more details to the first panel, I'm gonna start on the second panel. In order for me to show the emotion, I'm gonna have to compromise and not draw the entire body. Because I'm not trying to show the whole body doing the trick, I want to show the character straining himself to do the trick. I've sort of made a realization, this doesn't look that different from my previous drawing. It's supposed to be the same trick, but I don't really want to do a retread again, so I erased it, and I really try to rack my brain to find a new pose that will at least look different and bring a new vibe to it. And I feel like I was sort of lost and didn't know what to do, but I think these are the best times for artists because you get to experiment and brainstorm a new drawing that you probably wouldn't have come up with by sketching normally. Or you just accidentally draw Spider-Man. Okay, honestly, I'm just trying to sound deep. I'm really just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But then I drew this leg, and I felt like I had a little bit of hope. But yeah, I was happy that I came up with this leg because I felt like I was able to portray a twisting motion with this drawing. Also think the perspective is good, and I made the leg look more real. That was sort of my issue when copying the reference because my leg goes under the camera, so it was hard for me to make the leg not look flat. Okay, now that we have our foundation, it's time to draw the upper body. But since I changed everything, I think I'm gonna need to take new references. So I was originally gonna go with this, but I realized I needed movements between the panels. So in the first panel, he's preparing to swing his shoulders and arms, just as you do when you're rotating for a 180 in skateboarding. So I took this reference, where my arms and shoulders are halfway swinging. So let's see if my method worked and our panels look like it's in full motion.
There's someone standing there beside you, it's not me. I wonder, do you care? Falling gracefully, you push me once too far. Now will you come and save me? Eyes wide open, you see nothing. You're the one needs saving.
So I finished with the characters and their facial expressions. So in the first panel, his eyes are kind of squinting, but he is focused on what's ahead and he has a determined look on his face. I was pretty much just trying to simplify my own facial expressions in an anime art style. So yeah, the point is that I'm trying to show you like maybe this is how a skater would feel. Maybe he's chill at first, but then he's more strained and trying to land it, or I don't know. So yeah, emotions are powerful. Now I'm gonna go and draw the background of this page. But this time I'm not gonna bring out the ruler because I feel like it's just gonna smudge everything and I don't think people care too much if the proportions are accurate or not. Wait, let me rephrase that. I don't care if the proportions are right or not. I'm just trying to have fun and freehand this background.
Silence scares me. The egg in here gets so heavy. Rising heart, choking on what's really meant to be.
Now is time for the moment of truth. Will he finally land it? The pain, the sweat, the tears, it's all come down to this moment of perfection. He's finally done it. He's finally landed his trick. I've been working on this video for half a year now and I finally finished it. My characters were committed to this skate journey and I was committed to a journey as well. I just really wanted to see what would happen if I stuck to it till the end. And maybe not a lot of things have changed externally, but I do feel a little bit different internally. Well, anyways, I'm happy I'm here right now and I got to share something that is unique to me. And I'm hoping that I inspired you guys to start your own journey and not be scared of failure, because maybe you're gonna learn something you would have never learned if you'd never tried.